Are we just biological robots or something more? Most of the people you meet today will not be truly present. They'll be running programs, patterns, automatic loops of thought, feeling, and behavior. Someone cuts them off in traffic and anger appears. A notification on an app pings and anxiety appears. A memory arises and shame appears. It all looks personal. But what if, for the most part, it's a beautifully complex form of biological automation? Imagine every human being as a kind of a biological robot, a living organism wired with billions of neurons, soaked in hormones and neurotransmitters, constantly triggered by people and circumstances into predictable outcomes. A word, a tone of voice, a facial expression, and suddenly an entire script runs. Defensiveness, withdrawal, people-pleasing, aggression, caretaking. It's not that we decide in some free and open space. I think I'll be triggered right now. We don't decide that. The organism reacts faster than conscious thought. From early childhood, we are programmed by family dynamics, culture, trauma, rewards, and punishments. The nervous system learns, when this happens, do that. When that happens, feel this. Over time, these patterns become automatic. Psychology calls it conditioning. Neuroscience calls it automaticity. Now let's look a little more closely. Every emotion, every urge, every thought has a biochemical signature. Stress hormones, immune signals, neurotransmitters, waves of biological information surge through the body with each experience. We meet each other as walking fields of information. A smile is not just a social gesture, it's a cascade of oxytocin and dopamine. A criticism is not just words, it's a spike of cortisol, a tightening in the gut, a rush of defensive stories. In that sense, each moment is a reshuffling and remixing of information. Patterns in my nervous system meeting patterns in yours. And then they trigger new configurations of thought, feeling, and behavior. From this angle, biological robot is not an insult. It's a description of how this human instrument operates. So where is free will in all of this? Some scientists argue that if you know everything about the brain and the environment, you could, in principle, predict every choice we make. On that view, what we call free will is a story the mind tells after the fact, a commentary on decisions that were already made by unconscious processes. Others insist that there is a real capacity to choose, to interrupt that script, to respond rather than react. But in spiritual practice, we can ask a deeper question. Instead of, do I have free will? We can ask, who is the I that would have it, that would have this thing called free will? Look closely and you begin to see the body is reacting, the nervous system is firing, thoughts are appearing, emotions are moving. All of that is part of the robot. The conditioned organism, the learned patterns, the biochemical flows. That's what the robot is. But there's also something else present. There is awareness. Awareness does not react. It simply knows that a reaction is happening. It does not tense. It knows that tension is there. It does not believe. It knows that a belief is playing. So from the standpoint of awareness, the biological robot is an appearance, a complex, intelligent, ever-changing pattern arising in consciousness. So when you see this, something surprising happens. Judgment begins to soften. If a person is running a survival script learned in childhood, if the brain and body are firing in ways shaped by trauma and environment, then their behavior is not purely a moral failure. It's a program trying to protect itself. This doesn't mean we excuse harm or ignore responsibility. It means we understand the deep conditioning underneath it. We respond with clarity, but also with compassion. You might start to see, of course, they reacted that way. Given their history, biology, and present stress, could they have done anything else? This recognition dissolves blame and opens the heart. Spiritual practice, then, is not about fixing the robot. It's about waking up as the awareness in which the robot appears. In meditation, we watch thoughts come and go, sensations come and go, emotions come and go. We begin to notice the gap, the still, quiet presence that is not triggered, not conditioned, not born, not mechanical. From that recognition, something beautiful happens. The robot can be gently reprogrammed. New habits of presence, of kindness, of conscious breathing, new ways of relating, of speaking, of listening. These begin to form neural pathways that are new and new patterns in the body-mind. The conditioned organism becomes more flexible, more open, more loving, while awareness remains what it has always been, silent, spacious, and free. So yes, on one level, every person you encounter is a biological robot, a conditioned, reactive, biochemical pattern responding to other patterns. But on a deeper level, every person you encounter is consciousness itself, playing the role of a person, discovering its own freedom through these very limitations. The invitation is simple. In your next interaction, notice the robot and then notice the awareness that sees the robot. That is freedom. That is liberation. Tattvamasi.